Hello, hello, hello. Mic testing 1 2 3. Hello. Everyone, please rise to welcome the guests. Please settle down. Good morning, everyone. Chief guest, Dr. Devidas Gula, Director, Innovation, Incubation and Linkages, SPPU. Guest of honor, Dr. Anand Kumar Jaiswal, Professor of Marketing at IIM Ahmedabad. Mrs. Supriya Patil, Trustee, DYPIMS. Professor D.R. Karnure, Consultant Director, DYPIMS. Rear Admiral Amit Vikram, Retired, Campus Director, Dr. D.Y. Patil, Educational Complex. Dr. Shalaka Parker, Director, D.Y. Patil, PGDM Institute. Dr. Lalit Prasad, Director, DYPIMS. Honorable Member of the Dais, Dr. Nirmala Kumaraswamy, Director, D.Y. Patil, IMCA and Management. Teaching and non-teaching staff of the organizing institutes, that is DYPIMS, DYP IMCA and M, and DYP PGDMI. Research scholars, academicians, and dear students. On behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Management Studies, in collaboration with Dr. D.Y. Patil Postgraduate Diploma in Management Institute and D.Y. Patil Institute of Masters of Computer Applications and Management, it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you to the International Conference 2026 on the theme Business Analytics and Artificial Intelligence for Sustainable and Entrepreneurial Ecosystems in Management. We are delighted to host this prestigious gathering, bringing together eminent academicians, industry leaders, researchers, and scholars from across the globe. As we gather here today for this international conference, we stand at a defining moment in the evolution of modern management. The world today is being reshaped by data, intelligence, and innovation. And business analytics and artificial intelligence are no longer just technological tools. They are transformative forces that redefine how organizations think, decide, and create sustainable value for society. To invoke wisdom, knowledge, and enlightenment, we begin with the auspicious Saraswati Pujan and lighting of the lamp. May I respectfully invite our distinguished dignitaries to kindly grace the stage for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp. As the lamp grows brighter, may this conference illuminate minds and inspire innovation. The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them here today. On this note, we now begin with the Felicitation program. I invite Rear Admiral Amit Vikram, retired Campus Director, Dr. D.Y. Patil Educational Complex, to felicitate Chief Guest, Dr. Devidas Golar, Director, Innovation, Incubation and Linkages, SPPU. Thank you. I humbly urge Director DYPMS Dr. Lalit Prasad sir to felicitate the guest of honor, our keynote speaker, Dr. Anand Jaiswal, Professor Marketing, IIM Ahmedabad. Thank you, sir. I once again request Rear Admiral Amit Vikram, retired, sir, to felicitate Mrs. Supriya Patil, Trustee DYPMS. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Shalaka Parkar, ma'am, Director, DY Patil PGDMI, to felicitate Professor D.R. Karnure, Consultant Director, DYPIMS. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We now begin with the welcoming this august gathering. It is now my honor to invite a leader who has been instrumental in fostering academic excellence, research culture, and industry engagement at our institution. Dr. Lalit Prasad, Director at Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Management Studies, is an accomplished academician with over 18 plus years of teaching and research experience. An approved PhD guided SPPU, he has conducted numerous national level training programs and regularly trains professionals from leading companies pan-India. His research publications comprise reputed journals listed in ABDC, Scopus, Web of Science, and UGC Care journals. His achievements include NET, AMT accreditation by IMA, 2 patents, and a case published by the Case Center, USA. Dr. Prasad holds a PhD from SPPU along with postgraduate degree in mathematics, marketing, HRM, and was awarded awarded Prashasti Patra by Nagpur University for academic excellence. May I now invite a respected academician and the guiding force of this institution, Dr. Lalit Prasad sir, to formally welcome the gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to all distinguished dignitaries, respected guests, faculty members, delegates, and my dear students. It gives me immense pleasure and profound pride to welcome you all to this international conference on business analytics and artificial intelligence for sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystems in management, organized by Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Management Studies in association with D.Y. Patil PGDM Institute and D.Y. Patil Institute of MCA and Management on 6th and 7th March 2026. At the outset, I extend a warm welcome to our dignitaries, our chief guest, Dr. Devidas Golar sir, Director, Innovation, Incubation, and External Linkages, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Our guest of honor, Dr. Anand Kumar Jaiswal, Professor, Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Mrs. Supriya Patil, Trustee, D.Y. Patil Education and Research Foundation. Professor D.R. Kanure, Consultant Director, DYPMS. Rear Admiral Amit Bikram sir, Campus Director, D.Y. Patil Educational Complex. Dr. K. Nirmala, Director, D.Y. Patil Institute of MC and Management. And Dr. Shalaka Parker, Director, D.Y. Patil PGDM Institute. Dear sir and ma'am, we are deeply honored for your gracious presence. I also extend a warm welcome to all the delegates, faculty members, industry representatives who have joined today in this conference from various organizations and companies, and our faculty members and our enthusiastic students who are the integral part of this conference. Friends, we are living in an era where business analytics and artificial intelligence are not merely the technological tools, but these are the powerful drivers for transformation. They are reshaping organization, redefining strategies, and strengthening the entrepreneurial ecosystem. The integration of business analytics, AI, and management innovation is creating a new benchmark for decision making and value creation. At the global level, the AI-driven organizations are witnessing exponential growth, and data-driven organizations are significantly more productive than their competitors. With this background, we have thoughtfully chosen our theme of this conference, that is business analytics and artificial intelligence for sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystems in management. And I'm proud to announce here that we have received a huge academic response. We have received more than 100 research papers across India and abroad. Along with this, we have received more than 30 research papers from the student researchers. This remarkable participation shows the relevance of this conference and also the academic credibility of our institutions. Dear faculty members, your scholarly contributions in this conference is the true strength, and your participation in the conference will provide the insightful research and analytical perspective that will give you the future direction for this conference. To the industry representatives, your participation in this conference strengthens the bridge between the academia and the practice, and that will ensure that our deliberation will remain relevant, practical, and future ready. To my dear students, your active involvement in presenting and participating in this conference demonstrates the research culture we are committed to building. I urge you all to participate and use this opportunity to learn, network, and then aspire the excellence. This conference is not merely an academic event. It is a confluence of intellect, innovation, and inspiration. This conference provides the platform where ideas converge, collaboration begin, and the future leaders are shaped. So on behalf of the organizing committee, I sincerely thank our respected leadership, Dr. Bharat Patil, Executive Director, DYPIMS, Mrs. Supriya Patil, Trustee, DYPRF, Mr. Tejas Patil, Trustee, DY Patil Pratishthan, Dr. D.R. Kanure, Consultant Director, DYPIMS, Rear Admiral Amit Bikram Sir, Campus Director, DY Patil Educational Complex, for their constant support and guidance in making this international conference successful. I also extend a warm thank you to all the reviewers, coordinators, faculty members, and students who have tirelessly worked for this conference, and they have made this conference a reality. Let us make these 2 days a celebration of research excellence, innovation, and then visionary thinking. May this conference generate the insights and it will strengthen the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the management. Let me tell you that this conference will organize the 7 tracks over 2 days under the different management functions. The functions are general management, marketing management, financial management, human resource management, IT management, business analytics and operations management, and there will be a separate track for students also. And each track will deliberately provide a platform for discussion, exchange of ideas, and the academic interactions. We have also instituted the Best Paper Award in each track to recognize the contribution of the outstanding research contributions. So with these words, once again, I welcome you all to this conference and wish you a highly productive and scholarly enriching conference. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for setting the tone of academic excellence. Thank you for that warm welcome and for setting the context for this significant academic endeavor. As international conference such as this represents more than just a gathering of scholars, it represents a platforms where ideas converge, as sir also said, collaborations emerge, and knowledge transforms into innovation. To share with us the broader academic and industry relevance of this conference, it is my privilege to invite Dr. Shalaka Parker ma'am, who is the Director, D.Y. Patil PGDMI, an accomplished academician and educational leader with over 24 years of experience in higher education. She has served in several prestigious academic leadership roles, including the Director and Dean in reputed institutions of Pune, particularly within the D.Y. Patil Educational Group. Her dedication to education has earned her several prestigious recognitions, including the Exemplary Academician in Management Education Award, Best Teacher Global Eminence Awards, and Innovative Academician of the Year Awards. With her vision for pragmatic and contemporary learning, Dr. Parker continues to inspire students and educators alike. Dr. Parker has consistently championed initiatives that integrate research, innovation, and global academic engagement, and today she will speak about the significance and vision of this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Shalaka Parker.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues from the University of Multimedia Nusantara, Indonesia, Raffles University, Singapore, Texas State University, USA, our vibrant community of researchers and industry leaders. We gather today here for the 2 days conference on business analytics and artificial intelligence for sustainable and entrepreneurial ecosystems. And I'm sure that this represents the most critical double transition of our decade, where digital revolution meets the sustainability mandate. As we all know, in the year 2026, the wait and see approach to AI has expired. Recent global data suggests that while AI-driven enterprises see a 20% to 30% increase in its operational efficiency, only a fraction have successfully aligned these gains with the environmental, social, and governance goals, which are called as the ESG goals. Therefore, our core objectives for the next 48 hours through this international conference are designed to bridge this gap through, one, exploring how AI-driven models move from being efficiency tools to sustainability engines. Second, to break the silos between management, technology, and ecology. Third, to create a high-speed lane where academic research meets industry applications. And finally, to provide a springboard for our young researchers and startups to build an ecosystem that is resilient, inclusive, and future-ready. Now, to achieve these goals of our conference, we have structured our discourse and discussion across 6 specialized tracks, as Dr. Lalit has already mentioned, each serving as a pillar for modern data-driven management. Our first track, marketing, it focuses on the hyper-personalization and sentiment analysis, where AI brands understand the human heart behind the data. Our second track, human resources management, which navigates ethical AI in recruitment and predictive analytics for retention, ensuring technology serves the person. Third track, finance, from robotic advisors to blockchain integration, driving true financial inclusion and ethical investing. Fourth, IT management, exploring intelligent automation and cybersecurity, which are the invisible backbone of any agile entrepreneurial firm. Our fifth track, operations, using IoT and AI for green supply chains and predictive maintenance to minimize global industrial waste. And finally, the sixth track, business analytics, to master track. This is the master track, focusing on descriptive to prescriptive analytics to give startups a definitive competitive edge. My dear students, researchers, please note, this conference is a high-fidelity feedback loop, because by the end of this year, AI is projected to contribute over 15 trillion to the global economy. However, this growth is valuable only if it is sustainable. So, for the academia who are partaking this conference, the conference is a chance to move beyond theory. With Springer as our publication partner, we ensure your intellectual labor reaches the Global Scopus Index stage. And for the industry members contributing towards this conference, let me tell you that this is your intelligence R&D hub. You're surrounded by the brightest minds coming across from 3 countries, offering solutions to the exact challenges your boardrooms face today. So as we begin these sessions at this prestigious Shantai auditorium of our lush green campus, I urge you to look beyond the code of the spreadsheets. Look for the impact. Whether you are competing for the Best Paper Award or seeking a collaborative partner, remember our motto, D.Y. Patil Group of Institutions' motto is Jnanadhim Jagat Sarvam, knowledge is supreme. So let us use these 2 days to ensure that the intelligence we build is not just artificial, but actionable, altruistic, and enduring. And finally, I conclude with a quote. Destinations are reached by those who dream, whose dreams have life. Wings alone are not enough. It is the courage within that truly allows one to fly. So, let our courage be data-driven and our flight be sustainable. Here, I formally declare the conference open, so let innovation begin. Best wishes and thank you for a patient listening.
Thank you, ma'am, for articulating the transformative power of business analytics and AI in shaping sustainable ecosystems. As we say, data is the new soil, analytics and AI are the seeds from which sustainable businesses grow. Thank you, Dr. Parker, for articulating the importance of this conference and highlighting the transformative role of research and collaboration in shaping future management practices. It is now my privilege to invite the campus director, Dr. D.Y. Patil Educational Complex, Akudi Pune, Rear Admiral Amit Vikram retired to deliver the inaugural address. Sir is a veteran naval officer with rich and varied experience in training and development for over 35 years in Indian Navy, having developed competencies in training functions through services in Western, Eastern, and Southern Naval Command headquarters, as well as integrated headquarters of Ministry of Defense Navy. Sir has attained rounded experience in HR management and dealt in the planning and formulation of the policies in the field of education, training, and human resource management. With his distinguished background in leadership, discipline and institutional vision, Rear Admiral Vikram continues to inspire the academic community with his commitment to excellence and nation building. May I request Rear Admiral Amit Vikram, retired sir, to deliver the inaugural address.
Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. A very pleasant and smiling good morning. Today, as per Tithi, is the birthday of Shri Chhatrapati Maharaj. So, from my side, Mangalmay Shubhecha aap sabhi ko. Esteemed dignitaries on and off the dais, academicians, researchers, students, and distinguished guests. I extend a very warm welcome to you all in this edition of International Conference 2026 with the theme Business Analytics and AI for Sustainable and Entrepreneurial Ecosystems in Management. As a collaborative effort between the three institutes of DYP Group banner offering the management education. In fact, when I was processing the topic in my head, and the last word, which is management, I was stuck there that is it, we are focusing only on the management as a stream or domain, or management as in general perspective. That is, of course, the deliberation between the three institutes, but definitely the larger audience is from the Management Education Institute, so I'm figuring it out. This purely focusing on the management as an education stream. I would say that this joint initiative is not only an effort towards international collaboration, which is what you heard from Dr. Shalaka Parker, that we are adding up the international collaboration from edition to edition, but also a testament to our evolving vision to foster a dynamic, multi- and interdisciplinary learning ecosystem. And that brings together theory, practice, and of course, innovation, and prepare industry-ready students' force. I just imagine a scenario that a young budding entrepreneur like you people who are seated and going to be passing out in a short while from now launches a green tech startup and that turns plastic waste into solar panel frames. And within about 18 months, it scales to 3 states and cuts the carbon emission by about 40% and attracts global investors. Does it sound like a dream? And definitely no, because it's a reality which is powered by the phrases, what is going to be talked about in the next 2 days, which is business analytics and artificial intelligence. I would briefly touch upon the middle portion of this theme, which is sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystem, right? And that is, I think, the heart of the entire conference theme. The entire network of, whether it is startups, investors, suppliers, academic systems like us, or the communities are all working together towards such ecosystem, which should be sustainable and should be having the balance in the environment. The goal is simple but very powerful, that while we create wealth today, but at the same time, we don't destroy the planet for tomorrow. Whether it's our National Green Hydrogen Mission or whether it is our commitment for net zero by 2070 or Startup India, the entire focus remains on SDG aligned ventures. I just give you a very simple exercise which I did in the campus just about last month. I just was trying to understand that how do I economize the very precious commodity which is water. All right? If you look at it, if you are following the current war scenario in the Gulf, and if you are reading the asymmetry between US versus Iran, one of the biggest thing which is coming into highlight is that how Iran can give damage to the Gulf GCC countries, and which is by choking the basic commodity like water for that matter. Because everything is in this glorified desert, everything is from somewhere else, including water for that matter. So how the pain can be created is what is being talked about right now. Because Iran otherwise just cannot match up with the US as a force. But what damage it can do by just this small thing like, curtailing or choking the water supply, and just by sending a couple of drones in their water treatment plants. So this is one such example. And till the time it is precious, it's only when we realize the importance of it. And today, of course, we don't generally really focus in terms of, is it precious or not? Was readily available. So I did an exercise and I counted how many taps I got in this campus, which are 313. And I give it to the Civil Engineering Department of Engineering, and I told them that tell us how do we economize the use of water. So they gave me an exercise of putting the aerator on the tap. I'm sure you must have experienced it, so that it regulates the flow. So the normal tap, which was taking for filling 2 liter, was taking 12 seconds of time. The moment I put the aerator, it became 68 seconds to fill the same 2 liters. All right, it's a simple exercise. I told them to convert into mathematical way, which are the standard norms and the guidelines as per the National Building Code and the other systems. The calculation is staggering, that if I implement this aerator in all the 313 taps, I'll be saving 207 lakh liter water per year. Jasmita, surprising, no? Yes. And then I asked them to convert into how much will be the impact on the carbon emission. So they have told me that the carbon emission as per the standard formulas, which civil engineering is mastering that, they said you'll be saving to the environment 7,127 kg of carbon emission. Very simple exercise, but very powerful message, I suppose, and I'm sure we all require to be conscious about this fact. We have to realize, and earlier the better, that these ecosystems can only succeed when the 3 pillars of economic growth, social inclusion, which is like all of us have to partake into the exercise, and the environmental care are in our conscience and are strongly headed into. We also have to realize that the traditional management tools are always guiding, but at the same time, they are too slow, and to speed up and to process the data, we require the help of tools like BA and AI, and they have to step in to scale up the model. I was just trying to Google and try to understand this into our startup ecosystem or entrepreneur ecosystem in our country. How many these agencies or these ventures are using BA and AI? So I just Googled it. And I found that the large number who are in the domain of retail and consumer analytics, agri-tech, deep tech analytics, and of course, specialized and enterprise analytics. And only thing is, they are all getting focused into Bangalore or Chennai. I just came across with one name a company called Glimpse, which is in Pune, and which provide analytics of consumer behavior for offline retail stores using simple things like CCTV camera footages. So there's no doubt that the BA and AI interventions would help in a smart decision making optimization of resources, and help these ventures to transform into sustainable champion. And I'm sure the students who are seated in this in large number here from the three institutions would get to know, and I'm sure they must be studying into their curriculum, the various tools which are relevant and available in the market, like fractal analytics and mu sigma and many more. And I'm sure that will be debated in this 2 days conference under various tracks. Yet another area which was touched by Dr. Shalaka as well is always going to be in focus, and that is our ESG. We just cannot skip it. And as you're aware, the SEBI has given a very stringent guidelines now to the various business ventures to do reporting under business responsibility and sustainability reporting, that is called BRSR framework. And this is like in terms of having the quantitative and qualitative parameters. And they are very, very stringent guidelines on this particular domain. And I'm sure AI would be helping in automating these compliances at the time to come. I would hope that all these domains would come under the deliberations under various tracks planned in these 2 days' time. And I'm sure that this conference would bring together thinkers, creators, and researchers from diverse domains in management, facilitating rich dialogue, and would in turn help think deep. Our students would also go into collaborative learning, ideas, and innovation, where there are dedicated tracks meant for them to discuss upon. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate and appreciate the dedicated efforts of our organizing team, the three institutes, especially the conveners, faculty coordinators, student volunteers, and of course the technical staff. Your work behind the scenes is what makes this event to this scale to flourish. To our international guests and part of International Advisory Board and keynote speakers, I extend a special welcome. Your presence here reflects the spirit of academic solidarity across borders, and we are truly honored to host you in this city, Pune. As we embark on these 2 days of insightful presentation and discussion, I urge all the participants to engage, collaborate, and question deeply. Let us use this conference as a step towards inventing the better future for all of us, and especially the youth who is sitting in this auditorium. Make this future smarter, more connected, and more sustainable. Wishing the conference great success and an intellectually enriching experience for all of us. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for sharing examples how technology and sustainability are integrated by startups today. Sir highlighted that in the era of intelligent technology, innovation must be guided by responsibility. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and always motivating us with your vision of leadership, discipline, and academic excellence. Before we move ahead, I request all the dignitaries on the dais to occupy their seats in the audience. May I have the backstage committee come over to take the chairs on the sides? Jaiswal, sir. You can stay back because it's your session. I'll just introduce you and then we can start. Before we begin, may I have the lights, please, so that I can introduce you all to Dr. Jaiswal. Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our conference is further enriched by the presence of a distinguished academician whose work has contributed significantly in the field of management research and marketing thought leadership. We are honored to have with us our distinguished keynote speaker from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, Professor Dr. Anand Jaiswal. Professor Jaiswal is a globally respected scholar whose research spans services management, customer satisfaction, bottom of pyramid markets, e-commerce, and innovation in business models. He has held visiting and research positions at leading international institutes including Syracuse University, St. Petersburg University, Maastricht University, and Kathmandu University. His work has been widely published in premier international journals and received numerous research and teaching awards. In addition to his academic contributions, he has conducted executive trainings and consulting assignments for leading organizations such as PepsiCo, Novartis, HDFC Life, Daimler, L&T, and GE, amongst many others. His internationally acclaimed case studies are used today by hundreds of universities and organizations across more than 55 countries, reflecting his significant impact on global management education. A recipient of multiple prestigious and research and teaching awards, Professor Jaiswal continues to shape contemporary thoughts in marketing and management through his research, teaching, and consulting. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Jaiswal.
But here there is a mic, so I can use mine. So good morning to all of you. Thanks to Dr. Prashad and the organizing committee to invite me to deliver a talk in this conference. Thanks to the other guests and other invited dignitaries. So I was told that this conference, the focus of this conference is on AI and data analytics and how that is leading to sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystem. Essentially, when I tried decoding what exactly it means, so I realized basically it's talking about how AI and business analytics is transforming or are transforming business management. Entrepreneurship is part of business management. So accordingly, I have created some slides. So I have about 20 minutes. I was told that I need to finish my talk within 20 minutes. So I will try to finish everything in 20 minutes. So let us understand. So we know that, we are already seeing the impact of AI in our day-to-day life. Society is changing now, or AI is changing society so slowly. AI is changing organizations. AI is also affecting we all as an individual. In fact, we heard another speaker talking about how AI is now affecting our day-to-day life. So in the ongoing US, Israel, and Iran war, there is a talk of extensive use of AI. In fact, cloud and many other platforms are being used. There is also, you would have heard about news about some conflicts, some tension between Pentagon and the Anthropic, about how to use AI in defense and the possibility also of misuse of AI tools for surveillance, for example. So it's already affecting us. It's affecting our world around. But if we look at its impact in the management, in the organizational setting, so if you look at in the recent past, this is seen as third major revolution. So about 20 years ago, we started seeing, we saw the advent of internet, and we started seeing how internet can change our life. So we witnessed the growth in e-commerce. We witnessed how, for example, internet can affect decision making, how it can affect marketing decision, how it can affect supply chain. So we saw that. Then about 8-10 years ago, we started seeing the impact of social media, how social media is changing we all as an individual. We are accessing social media through our smartphones, tiny devices, how social media is affecting management and how social media is affecting marketing. Now, what we are seeing is a third revolution of recent time, and that is how AI is changing us. As I said, AI is changing society, AI is changing organization, and AI is changing we as an individual. So I would especially focus on the impact of AI on organizations and the decision-making process. So, yeah, so a lot of time, everybody is talking about AI, but if you look at what is AI and how exactly this will change, there is still great degree of lack of clarity, you can say. So many people argue, it's the famous statement by Professor Dan Ariely, and he said that AI is like a teenage relationships. Everybody is talking about, but very few people know how to do it. Everybody thinks that everybody else is doing, and therefore they also claim that they are also doing that. So still, there is great lack of clarity in regard to what AI can do, for example, for you as an organization and you as a marketer. So let me talk about when we say its impact. I would focus, some of the examples I will give will come from marketing as a domain. So we know AI is changing business functions, and especially when you look at the different functions within the management. So the early signals are clearly telling that two key functions would be greatly impacted by AI. So first one is sales and marketing, and the other one is supply chain and manufacturing or operation. And it is estimated that AI can create value ranging from 1.5 trillion to 2.6 trillion for the marketing and sales domain all over the world. And just below that, the other major value creation would be in the supply chain domain, and that would be ranging from 1.2 trillion to 2 trillion. So these are the two key functions which are going to be affected by AI. So let us understand what is AI. We need to have some clarity before we start talking about the application. So there are three components in AI. First, we are talking about data, big data, and then we are making use of it. We are trying to draw inferences out of it. Then along with that, we have a continuous learning. So while using data analytics, we are also learning, or systems are learning. And then this learning is to achieve specific goals or specific tasks. And this is along with the flexible adaptation. So there's no rigidity, So your systems, your process, your algorithm will improve. Maybe you have some efficiency today, but the continuous learning will result in eventually very significant efficiency gain shortly. So this continuous learning is a real new feature, because we have been using data analytics for ages or for quite significant time, but now systems or processes or algorithms are becoming really smart. The other way to look at AI is about developing the automated solutions. And these solutions are needed to solve problems which otherwise would have required human intelligence. So now I am developing solutions, automated solutions, for problems where human intelligence is required. So think about some problem, some task. For example, think about the domain in art and creativity. So for example, till some time ago, we thought that if we need to write a poem, or we need to write a novel or a fiction, or we need to draw a painting, only the artist, only the creative people can do that. Machines cannot do that, or computers cannot do that. But that's changing, that has changed, or this is changing. Think about other tasks where human intelligence is required. So for example, think about, making choices, taking decision when you have multiple alternatives, and then you need to evaluate these alternatives. For that, you need to employ some criteria. So people thought that their human beings would be needed. They cannot be replaced, but that's changing. Even in those cases, you will have human being replaced by the AI. So let me give you a simple example. So I did this some time ago. So first, before I move further, so there are two elements in this artificial intelligence piece. So first is artificial. That means there's a machine, there is non-human component, there is a device, or there's a system. And there is an intelligence. Intelligence, I said, that where there is a decision making involved, there is a choice, where multiple criteria to be used. So say for example, Turing test was thought to be the real hallmark of seeing the efficacy of any artificial system. And the Turing test, this was developed long ago, but the system that this test says that, for example, as a consumer or as a respondent, I'm interacting with human and machine. And if I can't distinguish whether I'm interacting with human and machine, then the system becomes intelligent. Understood? So if I can't figure out whether I'm being exposed to machine and then I'm also being exposed to human beings, and I can't figure out what is machine and what is human being, or the outcome of the uses. So then that passes the Turing test, and that system becomes AI in some sense. So let me do this. For example, there are these photographs, 4 photographs. Now some of these photographs are made using AI. Artificial device has made, and some are the natural photographs. Now how many of you think which one is natural in this case? Can you raise out of these photographs? So I will go clockwise. This is first, second, third, and fourth. Can somebody tell me which one is a natural and which one is artificial? Just raise hand if one you think is a natural photograph. Those who are saying no. This is one. Who all are saying second one is natural? Quite a few, 60-70%. Who all are saying third one is a natural? Maybe 5%, very small. And who all are saying the fourth one is natural? Another 5-10%. Okay. Now this is the Turing test, because all of you have failed. None of this actually is natural photograph. It's all generated through AI. So this was generated using Adobe's Fire. So this is a command given, and then you can see the app used. So all these are the artificially created photographs. So this is just one example, but this is just a photograph. But very shortly, I think we are already seeing, you have heard about n number of scams nowadays where there's a voice cloning happening, and then people are, it may appear that your father, your mother, or your family member is calling you that I'm in a distress, or I'm in real big soup, and could you please help me, send me this much money immediately. And this is a cloned voice using AI, and you can't differentiate, isn't that? Because it's a voice of your mother, or it's your voice of your son, and you immediately respond, and then you even after 5 minutes or after some time you realize that you are scammed. So this is a Turing test of another, which is being used to scam you. But there are a number of similar examples. This is another. It's very difficult to say that this is a AI generated image. So I'm talking about this is these are some months examples of some months ago. But very shortly you will have with all probability, as I said, with the way voice cloning is increasing, or the way video generation technology is evolving, maybe shortly, or maybe in few months, or maybe some more time, you will see somebody calling you on or talking you on WhatsApp, or even Zoom, for example. And that may be a system or a device which is pretending to be a human being. Isn't that? You can possibly think about your boss making a Zoom call, but that boss may not be a boss. It may be avatar of boss, or it may be a deep fake of a boss. So this is the way technology is evolving. So shortly we'll see that. Let me give you another example of AI, how AI is changing. And I said many things which were thought to be extremely complex, requiring human intelligence, now they're automated. So I will give you example, day-to-day example. So you all know Ramayana as a text. Many of us would have read Ramayana once or multiple times. So it is one of the key epic in Hinduism. It has about 24,000 slokas or verses, and one version, or one accepted long accepted version, has about 480,000 plus words, and it is also divided into 7 sections. Now I did some simple test. So you can use what AI can do. For example, AI can do what AI can do for you actually, using this example. So I give this command in ChatGPT that give me a summary of Ramayana in 1,000 words. Now it took about 1.5 minutes, and it generated 1,000 summary. So this is the summary, of Ramayana. Now, after that, I told AI that give me, a summary of Ramayana in 250 words. It took about 1 minute again, and then generated, you can see this is a 250 word summary. Then I told further that give me a summary of Ramayana in 100 words. It did it again in less than a minute. And then again, I was quite excited. So I said, that give me a summary of Ramayana in 2 sentences. It actually again took few seconds and generated a summary in 2 sentences. And finally, I said, let me try this. I said that give me a summary of Ramayana in 1 sentence. It did it in the next few seconds. Now remember that if you need to do this, now this is not a pure mathematical calculative task, the kind of task we used to do using calculators or computing devices. It requires a lot of intelligence, large language model, and then things which were not possible till recently. So this of course, as I said that this probably required human intelligence, but machine can do this. In few minutes, if I need to do, if you need to do, for example, if I tell you, okay, write a 1,000 word summary of Ramayana, I'm sure you will take few hours. If I tell you, okay, now write another 250 words or 500, you will take again significant time, isn't that? But here is a machine which can do this in just 1 minute or less than a minute. So this is the example of AI. So let me talk about some examples of AI. In business management, and then I will also talk about, given the focus here is on sustainability and the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So I would also give you quick examples of how AI is changing healthcare, for example. So AI, when we talk about AI, invariably, AI's impact in marketing, we use this 5C, STP, and 4P framework. Using this framework, we identify new opportunities as an entrepreneur, for example, and then we exploit these opportunities. So for example, we need to scan environment and see if there is a need for new product, and then we develop that product and take that product to the market, and then we decide the appropriate segment for targeting purpose, then we position it, and then we also decide our 4P. So we can look at AI's implication in all of these. For example, I can scan environment for opportunities. So, for example, of course, there is a lot of unstructured data if as a brand, as a company, for example, I'm interested in knowing about what exactly people are talking about. Now, as I said, that they're text mining software. There used to be text mining softwares, or even now, but AI has revolutionized this possibility that on a real-time basis, I can figure out what is being discussed about my company, my brand, or what exactly people are discussing in general about. For example, this is an example of what we call social listening. So we can track what is being discussed in social media, what type of problem people are discussing when it comes to any particular domain, for example, banking, for example, or think about automobile, or think about a problem, day-to-day problem, maybe hair care. What exactly is being discussed? What exactly is dissatisfying consumers, or is a problem area for consumer? And that helps me in identifying opportunities, because I know that maybe this is a problem which needs solution, because people are very, not happy with the current solution available in the market. So there are softwares, AI tools available which can help you in social listening. You can figure out what is being discussed, what are the problems. You can also discuss what are the issues with the competitor, with your brand. So this is, so this is the example of social listening, and many companies are using, so for example, one example, L'Oreal, for example, this is just one example. So L'Oreal actually looks at, does a lot of mining of social media data. It looks at what actually is being, how people are, for example, what exactly they are discussing, what exactly, what are the problems they are talking about. And based on that, they are predicting the trends, market trends, for example, or consumers' evolving needs. And this information they're trying to use for the product development purpose. So emotion detectors, for example, Now, like when you call, any call center, be it any problem you're facing and you're using call center. Now, and many times we know that we are unhappy with the response, consumer are angry, frustrated. Now, at times you're asked to give feedback, but most of the time we don't give feedback, even if we are unhappy. Or think about, patient coming, a patient or patient's relative, for example, talking with the nursing staff, talking with the doctors, or talking with the front desk. Now, I can use AI-based systems to detect and understand emotions. Isn't that without necessarily capturing formal feedback? Just by AI systems, I can see whether I can check whether you're happy, unhappy, your extent of dissatisfaction. So emotion detection, even your facial recognitions, whether you were happy or unhappy when you were interacting with the nursing staff or when you were actually talking to somebody. So these are the systems which can allow you to detect human emotions, consumer satisfaction, for example. Segmentation and targeting positioning, we can do with a very interesting possibility. We use traditionally only demographic variable, only psychographic variable, but now we have a whole range of variables. We create personas, lot of subtle elements, subtle variables are being used. So Harley Davidson, for example, use AI to understand what actually discriminates between those who are buying Harley Davidson versus those who are not buying. So this entire, and it has real large number of variables which are not normally used. Now, based on this learning, they are now figuring out or predicting who all are likely to use who are all likely to buy Harley Davidson, for example. So this is one example of targeting. I would, so there are examples of, personalization. We all know that segmentation is very commonly used strategy, but how exactly we can use, unfortunately. Can you please change the slide? It's not working, the slide. Yeah, just move on, next slide. Yeah, so can you play this video if you just click it? So look at the, the real world application, how organizations are using. So this is, of course, an old. So this is one of the day-to-day application of AI, and then you will see several versions of that. So we, for example, visit offline stores to try out glasses, but very commonly for apparel purchase, for example, we need to, before purchasing, we try out apparels and see how they would look like on us. But now you have AI-based system, they will scan your entire body shape, size, and then immediately within few seconds you can figure out how exactly you will look like in those new clothes. So this is just revolutionizing the e-commerce, one example of that, but it's continuously evolving technology. Can you change the slide? Next slide. Just go to next slide. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so look at the retailing, how retailing is changing with AI. And again, can you increase the volume?
What would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So, how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
So this is how AI is revolutionizing the retailing. Can you change the slide? Next slide. Look at this one example of store selection. Can you increase the volume?
10 years. And it got better and better with AI. But I'll give you a use case which probably is not as common. We open now 50 stores a month. And I used to sit in those meetings where, everybody would present a property and people would say, okay, this location will do this much revenue, this location would do this much. And we used to get it wrong 50% of the time. And then we started building a machine learning model based on our existing locations. And today, nobody makes a decision. We opened 400 stores last year. We opened 400 stores the year before. We can today, with 95% plus accuracy, predict the revenue of a store before we open it. And we can deliver payback in 8 months. So this is good use of AI. And what generative AI is doing is it's opened doors now for vision correction on the phone. So that's what I'm excited about.
You can see the efficiency gain from manual process to the AI base from 50% to 95%. A company is using this for store selection, and we studied a company, a very revolutionary, interesting issue. So far, I cannot do refraction testing, eye testing, for example, remotely or virtually. I need to necessarily visit optician or eye specialist for doing this. But with recent advances in the liquid lens technology and the AI and the computing, this is possible that sitting at your home, you can get your eye tested. The technology is already out in the market. So no need to go to, the eye specialist or optician, and then you can figure out whether you need same lenses or you need different technology. Just can you change that? Given the time, I will just quickly discuss one or two applications.
Big businesses and brands that suffered during the pandemic found their way back, but the smaller stores still suffer.
This lockdown has been a real tough phase of my life. I have seen bad days, but this was the worst.
Last year we helped small businesses through Diwali. So this year we decided to bring it back. Presenting not just a Cadbury ad. This Diwali, we helped hundreds of small businesses by making India's biggest brand ambassador be their brand ambassador.
इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास वाले फैशन नोवा एम्पोरियम से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना और फिर एम्पायर फुटवेयर नाम तो सुना होगा अपना स्टाइलिश चश्मा बगल वाले हेवन आई ऑप्टिशियन से ही लेना सिद्धि विनायक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से लेटेस्ट स्मार्टफोन खरीदकर धमाकेदार सेल्फी पोस्ट करना
क्या कर रहे हो मीठा लाए कि नहीं
लाया हो ना यार अपने पास वाले रोशन किराना से आप भी अपना मीठा वहीं से लेना
We used machine learning to recreate Shah Rukh Khan's face and voice to take the local store names in the ads.
इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास वाली चॉइस ऑफ फैशन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना पास वाले आजकल फैशन से ही रॉयल फैशन से ही एनके क्लॉथ्स से ही पास वाली लक्ष्मी कलेक्शन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना इस दिवाली आप भी ना
Different versions of the same ad with local store names were targeted as per the PIN code of the viewer, showing them only the nearby stores. But it is impossible to cover all the stores. So we gave the power to the people to create their own version of not just a Cadbury ad. Any small business owner could promote their stores through their own social media networks like WhatsApp forwards and other social media pages.
हमारे आसपास की जो दुकानें हैं, उनकी दिवाली भी तो मीठी होनी चाहिए।
Cadbury celebrations, not just a Cadbury ad.
So can you just move? I will give one last example from the healthcare. Just can you, so we looked at the application of AI in business management, but I'm doing research how AI is changing the healthcare. So this is the work I and my colleagues from Europe and US, we are doing this research. So just two quick examples, and with this I will end. So there's a company is revolutionizing how AI is revolutionizing the healthcare. So this is a company, Bangalore-based company, is known as Nirmai. We interviewed his founder, IISc graduate. So her name is Vasanti Sakuntala, if I remember correctly. So this is interesting that if you look at for cancer like breast cancer, the traditional diagnosis involves using mammography. And mammography is quite reasonably expensive, at least for average Indian, and it's very painful. In general, it's a very painful experience for the user. But what this company did, they use very simple insight that the tumor cells, because they consume a lot of, they grow at a faster rate and they consume a lot of calories or sugar. So there is a temperature gradient. The tumor cells have higher temperature, 2 degrees Celsius roughly, in comparison to the non-tumor cells. So they developed a device using thermal scanning with several thousands of, data from the patients having breast cancer. And they eventually use AI to train or to differentiate thermal scans of a tumor and non-tumor cells. And with this, actually, they developed a new system or new device for cancer detection. It's extremely user-friendly and relatively very affordable or low cost. So you can see, can you change so this is a device. It can just take the thermal scan, and then a device will look at the thermal scan pattern using AI-based system, and then in few minutes, it can then tell you whether there is a cancer or non-cancer cells in the body. So this is one example. It's going to revolutionize the cancer detection. It's already there. The technology is approved by FDA in the US and the CE mark in the Europe. So this is, and one last, and can you just play this? I hope if this works, then this is interesting video, how AI is changing the infant care. Can you just move to the next slide, yeah? If you can run this. And with this, I will end my presentation.
I only get 48 hours with my newborn patients, just enough to run tests and hope they're healthy. But many neurological diseases can be detected as early as a few weeks after birth. The issue is that it requires weeks of constant monitoring by experts. I would pretty much need to live with them, but now I can be there for my patients, even when I'm not there with them. BabyMinder, the only baby monitor designed specifically for neurological development.
In essence, BabyMinder combines baby monitoring with AI-powered computer vision to detect subtle neurological symptoms or movement patterns that parents rarely have the medical training to recognize. For example, it can flag patterns associated with autism spectrum disorder, like hand flapping, or detect certain motor events related to epilepsy, such as convulsive seizures, rhythmic jerking, or sudden muscle stiffness. BabyMinder records clips and uploads them to its cloud database. These videos are analyzed by the AI model trained on thousands of videos from our neurological symptoms dataset. Here, BabyMinder has flagged hand flapping, which is a movement pattern seen in infants later diagnosed with autism, prompting further medical review.
And that's when I get an alert. If my test confirms what BabyMinder flagged, then I will give the diagnosis to the parents. BabyMinder has been implemented at a top hospital with pediatrician support collecting data and research on over 3,000 babies. BabyMinder helps give babies an extension of my care after they go home. More peace of mind for parents and doctors.
Okay, so I have already crossed the time, but I have several slides and examples of the danger of AI, but I will not talk about. But just yesterday I heard this news, very disturbing news, that just 3 days after the pregnancy sets in, or the conceptions, AI can detect nowadays, or the yesterday's news says that whether the baby is male or female. It usually used to take a lot of time, but nowadays, just after 3 days of fertilization, AI can differentiate and tell you whether there is a boy or a girl or a male child or a female child. Now, of course, it's promising, but it's extremely dangerous because with all probability, you will not need doctors to tell you whether the pregnancy is for a baby or a baby boy or a girl. And you know the consequences of that in a country like India, when that power or that decision making is being transferred to people like you and me. So that's one real danger. Just yesterday's news I heard. That's it from my side. Thanks again to organizers for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your enlightening perspectives. You've shared some great, interesting live examples through the audiovisual mode. We are truly honored by your presence at this conference. Thank you, sir, for citing how AI is dominating today in various sectors and domains. You've emphasized on the need to understand AI at a level where we don't just use it on a prima facie level, but it is important to deep dive and understand the responsible applications of AI as an integrative tool towards creating a sustainable ecosystem, whether in the field of management, marketing, operations, or any other, that will touch the countries, that will touch the corporates and everyone's life. Thank you once again. Before we proceed, I would request, yes, all the backstage coordinators to please do the setup. Okay. You have the PPT? No. Okay. So everybody can sit on the dais and listen to you. Okay.
Can I take it over?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now privileged to have as our chief guest Dr. Devidas Gulhar, Director, Innovation, Incubation and Linkages, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. We are extremely delighted at your presence today, sir. It is my honor to introduce a distinguished leader in innovation and entrepreneurship, Dr. Devidas Gulhar. He currently serves as the Director of Innovation, Incubation and Linkages at SPPU, holding a PhD in Mechanical Engineering along with MBA, bringing over 2 decades of experience across academia and industry. He has previously served as a professor and head of technology management and as a dean of the Faculty of Engineering at SPPU. He was instrumental in establishing the university's Technology Business Incubator and the Atal Incubation Center. Under his leadership, major national innovation programs have been launched, and he has mentored over 200 startups, facilitating more than 50 crores in funding across sectors such as agri-tech, health tech, ed tech, and clean tech. A prolific researcher with 60 plus publications, Sir has guided numerous PhD scholars and secured significant R&D grants from leading national agencies. Dr. Gulhar also advises government bodies and industry on innovation strategy and serves on multiple national committees and boards. Recognized for his impactful work, he has received the SPPU Excellence Award for Innovation Leadership and ASSOCHAM Best Incubation Center Director Award. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Devidas Gulhar. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Just a minute shy. Good morning.
There's always an advantage to be a chief guest. It's very ceremonious, but you're equally at a disadvantage because a lot of things have been said. And then you're requested with this particular challenge that what is left for you. I won't take much time of yours. I understand you're sitting since morning and you need a break. But you heard an introduction of Devidas Golar. Devidas Golar heard it for the first time. Most of it was not mine. I don't know where it was picked up from. I think ChatGPT?
No, LinkedIn.
Some of it was me, some of it was not me, but perhaps ChatGPT wants me to be what was introduced here. I come from a management background, and 25 years back I graduated, and entrepreneurship was just discussed as a subject where we took classes and we gave exams and we scored good marks, but never understood what entrepreneurship is. And we were always given a choice whether we want to be an entrepreneur or whether we want to join in employment. And most of us wanted to join an employment. Very few of us, even though I passed from Somaiya, it was a minority institution. Most of it comes from Gujarati communities, and still they wanted to go for employment. Today, I often ask this question wherever I go, that how many of you want to be an entrepreneur? I'm not used to this limelight. Can we switch this off?
Can we
please?
dim this? These two.
That's nice. Yeah, now I can see the hands. Very good, very good, very good. And this is this is always a herd mentality where we have. Let somebody raise it first and then I'll raise. Not many. I don't see things have changed over a period of 25 years, but contexts have changed. And if I tell you that, for most of you, entrepreneurship is not a choice. It's going to be a kind of a forced choice onto you, or it's becoming a necessity. I give you very small statistics to it, and then I'll come to AI. You know, Pune PMC limits and PCMC limits, these two geographies put together, we generate not less than 60,000 graduates a year. 60,000 graduates. And we had interactions from last 2 years. We have been interacting with NASCOM, MCCI, with CII, and various other associations, industrial associations. And what we got to know, even though there's not a concrete figure on this, but they collectively, these two cities, and which, mind you, these are the most industrialist cities of this country, they put together all the resources that they have. They are unable to create an employment of not more than 30,000 as an average. So even an industrial town like this is not able to accommodate the number of graduates that it's producing. And so it's a very great concern, as in such that what half of the graduate that's passing every year, what are they going to do? So that's one big question that we have. And as an education institute, I believe this is the primary responsibility of us at the university, at the institutions, that how do we address this situation? How do we address this situation in collaboration? And this is where perhaps I said in the beginning, entrepreneurship might be a forced choice for most of you. So if it is so, let's try and mentally get prepared towards it. Let's do that mind shift change, and let's do that kind of sensitization. And this is where we are at the university. We are trying and going across the 3 districts. We have 3 district jurisdiction. And from last 1.5 months, we have been doing 20 boot camps all across 3 districts. And mind you, the kind of enthusiasm, the kind of excitement youth has, this is mind-boggling. I never thought that people have it, even though they are apprehensive at the beginning. But what is that even though they are few in number, but the excitement is humorous. So why is it that people are wanting to go to entrepreneurship? Is it that there is a necessity? Is it that we're poised with many problems and they say the more the problems, more the opportunities? Or is it that AI has come for rescue? Because there's often this debate happening that AI will solve all the problems or AI will destroy everything. Professor Jaiswal rightly put in some of the cons, and I'm sure there are many in this nature. I'm reading a book called Coming Wave, and I recommend this book to you very strongly. Please do read this. It is written by Mr. Suleiman, who was the co-founder of OpenAI. And he has very beautifully written in the Coming Wave, the name of the book, that how AI will evolve in days to come and how it needs to be contained. Contained. Right? Because I'm told that, and last month I read this particular article that synthetic biology and AI combined together, there is a firm that is experimenting on this particular aspect, that it claims that anybody in this particular auditorium stays alive for another 5 years will have a choice to be on this planet for another 200 years. AI. Some of the examples which Professor Joshua also put in the health sector. Now, are we really going with the nature or against the nature? Are we challenging the natural evolution aspect of it? Is AI that as an intervention disturbs the entire ecosystem of humankind? And there's often another question that is posed all the time, that it will replace humans. I mean, this is a very generic statement, but they are still being debated. Because they say that jobs have been taken away, and likewise, I mean, there's still a white paper to be brought on this, that to what extent it has impacted, because recently at the AI Impact Summit in Delhi, there's a lot of deliberation that happened on this particular aspect of how much of jobs will be taken away. And country-wise, if you look at it, India is not at very much a threat as compared to the developed nations. Some advantages of being a developing country. So, in this entire context, now linking, because these two are for me an independent subject, even though they are very closely related, entrepreneurship and AI. Because we are dealing with both of it at this point in time in an educational institute. Entrepreneurship, we are trying to develop mindset because that's a necessity. AI, we are trying to deal with it in this context of how judiciously it will be used, how ethically it will be put to use. But mind you, any technology that has come in, and this is my take on it, we can agree to disagree, it is always exposed to use, misuse, abuse, and then it evolves. I still remember during our college days, we used to have a PPT. We used to actually write the slides on that plastic sheets, put it onto the text, and then we show, and then suddenly we were given this opportunity of PPT, that is slides and PPTs and all. And we started using it, misusing it, abusing it, but over a period of time, we rationalized it. That's how humans actually evolve with the technology. So, will it happen with the AI? I'm not sure, because the proliferation of AI is 100 times more faster than any other technology that has happened in the past, irrespective of whether it's a developing or developed nation. But coming back to entrepreneurship and AI put together, how are we solving the issues and the problems of the society? And add to that sustainability. Because at many times in the international forums, whenever there is an issue of sustainability being discussed, developing countries get together and start debating or reasoning out the sustainability interventions, because some of us say that we have just arrived and you have started talking about sustainability. You developed countries have misused resources, abused the resources, and reached to a state where you can preach about sustainability, but countries like us have just arrived out and we are still making sense of what can be done with the resources, and the sustainability kind of restrictions are put across to us. Now, this is again a debate. I'm just putting you some of the facts and figures that's happening across the globe. But this is for us to understand now. They always say that nature is something, resources something which we actually borrow from the future generations. Very recently, yesterday, we woke up to this particular news that at a MIT ADT campus, all the students came together and they started protesting about the waste dumping in their vicinity. It was a big news in the last two days paper. All the waste dumping was happening next to the college campus, and that resulted in toxic fumes and so on and so forth. How do we address this? How will AI help us address those issues? And more so, how will AI help us in sustainably addressing these issues? That's another challenge. I think we are still evolving with this particular fact. Because of late, if I scout and if I go across looking at the ideas the youth has, they're primarily, if I have to distinguish, one is like, can I develop another app, a food delivery app? Or there's another set of ideas that is, for instance, coming and talking about how do I, with the smart technology, can I address the issues of waste disposal? And the first type of ideas are more in number, the replication of it, the fancying and the romanticizing with the ideas with the intervention of AI. and the other which are actually looking at the core issues of the society and trying to address it. One of your professor's student actually have reached to the technology transfer stage wherein they are trying to experiment with the early detection of the contamination of the crops. That's something what we call as a research. The farming, and they say that according to the World Economic Forum report, I don't want to bore with the numbers, but they say that one of the largest sector that's going to have a potential for employment in days to come is going to be agriculture. How many of our educational institutes are wanting our students to go to that particular sector and work? You know, they say that one of the, which possibly according to you is one of the riskiest business on this planet, I mean at least for the country like India, let's not talk about the planet. Very true. And how many of you have come from the agriculture family? See? And they say that we don't have the ability to take the risk. It's there in our blood, right? It's only the mind shift. Why can't, I mean, Mahatma Gandhi long time back made this particular statement that go back to villages. Perhaps this is the time now we start looking at it very, in a manner that actually will result into some kind of interventions in the agriculture sector. And believe me, there are only two sectors which, again, according to me, the way I have evolved and the way, whatever experience, little experience that I have, there are two sectors which will actually help India to get into a developed state. Is one, education, and second is agriculture. How judiciously we are using the AI intervention in these two sectors. And in the last one and a half month that I'm traveling to all the interiors of the three districts, that is Nasik, Ahilyanagar and Pune, believe me, at least 70% of the ideas that have come, in addressing the issues of agriculture and the supply chain, health to some extent. Now, this is an encouraging sign. I think we adults, sitting dignitaries and the delegates of the conference with the gray hair, including me, we have judgments for the youth today, and a lot of judgment that we, as a parent, as a teacher, one of the very popular judgment that we have for you is what? Your parents must be always taunting you, your professors at times, your relatives. What is the judgment? क्या धारणा है आपके लिए? आज का यूथ क्या है? कैजुअल है और लेजी है और क्या है? जेंजी है नहीं, एडिक्टेड है. एडिक्टेड टू व्हाट? मोबाइल्स. हम ये बोलते समय मैं ऑलवेज आई अर्ज एंड आई हैव डन दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट विथ माय ओन सन. What do I do I mean, on 2-3 occasions I did this, because I am a parent. Again, I am programmed to be a parent. And then when I look at my screen time and my son's screen time, at times I have beat him. But still I have the judgment for him that my son is addicted to the screen. Why I'm saying this is, the reason is very simple, that at least we were very bothered about what our parents, what our elders, adults think about us. And accordingly, it affected us a lot, those judgments, right? But today, my earnest appeal to this particular generation is this, and as a teacher and as a parent both, that don't get affected. Don't judge yourself on the basis of how others are judging you. Because that's the first step, I believe, is to, if you really have to venture your journey into creating something of your own. And what is entrepreneurship basically? If you really have to take the journey and try and experiment that, whether you have it in you, one thing is for sure that it's there in your blood, risk-taking ability, because this is how we have evolved in the society. So first thing perhaps most of you can do is, can you decide for yourself that next year when I'm going to come for admission, I'll not ask for the fees from my parents. I think even if you try to do this and earn the basic living, or basic expenses that is required for your living, be it a part of your fees or be it a part of your daily expenses, I think that's the beginning of an entrepreneurial mind. And with AI coupled with it, I'm very sure most of you can possibly do this. I think this is another issue which I just want to address and stop here. Very recently, and this is again connected with AI and the judgments and the kind of context we are evolving in entrepreneurial world, how many of you have read or heard last month a survey was released which speaks about the mental health of the youth across the globe? And when I say youth, I mean the people in the age bracket of 18 to 34. What, according to you, the Indian youth, and they were ranked, all the countries were ranked in terms of their mental health quotient or well-being. The first country, obviously, most of the Scandinavian countries and all, believe me, it's different from happiness index. Mental health and happiness is two different factors. I don't want to get into it as a lecture. But which position India must be standing in terms of the mental health? Any guesses, wide guesses? There were 84 countries that were screened. Of the 84, where do we stand, according to you? Any guesses? ChatGPT is there. Somebody is already trying to read across. Don't believe all and everything that is put to you. 60th. 60. Now, we still have to validate the parameters, but all the parameters necessarily may not be wrong. This is empirically done, and there's a scientific way of doing it. Some of our researchers have to believe it. So if India's mental health of the people from the 18 to 34 years is so fragile, what could be the possible reason for it? And what would be the role of AI in days to come to make it more, from a more fragile to a more resilient one? How possibly we can do that? That's another set of challenge, believe me. Because it's not just you for that matter. They say that 34 and above people are reasonably okay. Maybe because of the mental composition, the conditioning at the early stages. But this is another set of challenge that is going to face India. Because they say that if your society is not mentally fit, and to put it not contented, whatever efforts that we are putting in over here, actually, they don't count. So from the educational institute perspective, holistic development is going to be one of the very important aspects that is going to come in days to come. And I'm very sure this is not going to be dealt in the form of lectures and likewise, but it will be more in an experiential learning. But believe me, if this is the state, and whatever the possible, as I said, advancement that we are doing, be it in entrepreneurial world or be it in the AI, I think we will always be regressive in nature. So let's, as an educational institute, and all put together, try and at least accept this particular fact that we need at least the pandemic, some of the fallout of the pandemic in a form of positive fallout. Hardly there's a positive, but there is one positive fallout that people started acknowledging is something called mental health, and it's not a kind of a disease. So let's start addressing that as well. And I'm very sure in days to come, youth who have raised their hands, and I'm very sure that most of you will also follow, because it's a very interesting journey to be an entrepreneur, believe me. And in this era today, when you're helped with AI, and when you have several issues and problems around you, I think this is the greatest opportunity, because let's try and look at the possibility of job giver than there's a job seeker, because jobs are going to be very limited. And even if you're a job seeker, believe me, the entrepreneurial kind of traits are going to differentiate you from a regular student. So in any case, entrepreneurial skill sets are required for days income. So with this wishful thinking, and congratulate entire DY Patil group of institution, because during our days, the conference themes were very contextual, but these days people are talking about entrepreneurship, they're talking about AI, they're talking about sustainability. So all of this is really opening the forum, opening up the minds in terms of what possibly could be the chances, opportunities, or probabilities of we venturing into it. And I wish this particular conference a great success. Let the deliberation come through. Let there be ideas validated. Let there be hope, and all put together prevail in days to come. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. Devidas Golar, for your valuable insights on innovation and academia-industry integration. Sir brought to our attention the need of education system to optimally integrate AI usage both rationally and responsibly. Sir also emphasized on encouraging youngsters apply AI to address the ongoing issues that will help bring a societal balance, enhance the lifestyle, eradicate societal issues, thus helping nations bring social equity. Economic development doesn't suffice. Sustainable development, hence, is the key. And use of AI today can help us do wonders in this. Thank you once again, sir. This platform has enabled bringing together leading academicians, business managers, PhD research scholars, students from universities across India, entrepreneurs and industry executives to exchange and share their experiences, new ideas and research results. To conclude the inaugural ceremony and express our gratitude, I invite Dr. Avinash Pawar, Professor DYPMS, to offer a vote of thanks.
Very pleasant afternoon to everyone present here. Respected chief guest, guest of honor, members of the management, directors, distinguished delegates, and researchers, and my dear students. It is my great honor and privilege to be a part of this conference and propose a vote of thanks for the inauguration session of International Conference on Business Analytics and Artificial Intelligence for Sustainable and Entrepreneurial Ecosystem in Management. On behalf of D.Y. Patil Institute of Management Studies, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our esteemed chief guests, Dr. Devidas Gola, Director, Innovation and Incubation and Linkages at Savitribai Phule Pune University, for gracing the occasion and sharing his valuable insights on innovation, incubation, and the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem. Sir, your inspiring words have truly set a meaningful tone for our conference. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. Anand Jaiswal, Professor IIM Ahmedabad, for your enlightening and thought-provoking address. Your perspective on how transformation can happen in businesses and different ways how the application of AI can bring a change into the businesses and societies has really added a lot of value to the today's gathering. I extend my special thanks and appreciation to our DYPMS management, Dr. Bharat Patil, Executive Director, Mrs. Supriya Patil, Trustee DYPMS, Dr. Shweta Patil, Managing Director, Professor D.R. Karnure, Consultant Director, and Dr. J.G. Patil, Trustee DYPRF, for their constant guidance, support, and motivation throughout the journey of this conference. Our special thanks goes to Campus Director Rear Admiral Amit Vikram sir for his inspiring inaugural address and continuously encouraging and providing support and guidance to all of us. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Lalit Prasad, Director DYPMS, for warmly welcoming the today's gathering, and Dr. Shalaka Parker, Director DYP PGDM Institute, for highlighting the relevance and importance of the today's conference. I also extend my appreciation to Dr. Nemala for her encouragement and valuable support throughout the conference activities. We are truly grateful to all our delegates, academicians, researchers, and industry experts who have joined us from various organizations and institutes. I would also like to acknowledge the dedicated efforts of organizing committee, faculty members, volunteers, students of all three institutes, DYPIMS, DYP PGDMI, and D.Y. Patil Institute of MCA and Management. Last but not the least, we thank our international partners, Texas State University, United States, and University of Multimedia, Nusantara, and Raffles University, Malaysia. Once again, thank you everyone. Thank you for all your help and support. Wishing you all a productive, insightful, and enriching conference ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Avinash Pawar. I now request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगल गायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you. We now request all the teaching and non-teaching staff from respective institutes to kindly assemble near the stage for a group photograph along with the dignitaries. Honorable members, I request you all to please come up stage so that we can have a group photograph with everyone. Photo? इकडे नको हे दिसलं पाहिजे ना एक फोटो मैम बोली दो कॉलेज को कंबाइन करना है आपका और उनका कॉलेज ठीक है मैम का ठीक है Okay, may I request all the organizing committee institutes, teaching and non-teaching staff to please come up stage for a group photograph, and the honorable members can stand near the stage. So let us have first the group photograph of two institutes, that is D.Y. Patil MCA and M and D.Y. Patil PGDM Institute. Thank you. May I now have DYPMS teaching and non-teaching staff come forward on stage so that we can have the photograph along with the dignitaries. one humble request that all the honorable dignitary members are requested to also face the stage so that we can have a group photograph with the audience, with all the students and research participants who have come across Pan India. Settle with them. All the students are requested to rise for the group photograph along with the dignitaries. All students and participants, we will have a quick 5 minutes break so that we resume in 5 minutes. It's a short break. Please resume on time. In the meanwhile, I request the escorting committee to please escort the guests.
I request all the students please gather in conference hall, please. I request all the students please settle down. Volunteers, please make sure to gather all the students in the auditorium. Students, please settle down fast as we are going to start this session shortly.
Students are requested to assemble as fast as possible. ऐसे ही आ जाइए. Please settle down, everyone. Please, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Welcome back. After the inspiring inaugural address and the enriching words shared by our chief guest and guest of honor, we now move forward to one of the most intellectually stimulating segments of today's conference, that is the plenary session. The plenary session brings together eminent thought leaders and globally respected academicians who will share their perspectives on the evolving intersections of business analytics, artificial intelligence, and sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystems. Their insights promise to broaden our understanding and inspire meaningful dialogue for the future of management and innovation. Let us begin this distinguished plenary series. Before we begin this academic journey, I request Dr. Shalaka Parker, Director, Dr. D.Y. Patil, PGDMI, to felicitate our distinguished speaker, Mr. Nitin Deshpande, Strategic Advisor, GCC Setup, Ex-President, Evolent Allscripts, BMC. Please give a big round of applause to Mr. Nitin Deshpande. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nitin Deshpande, a seasoned global leader with over 25 years of experience in IT and healthcare technology. Sir has held top executive roles, including President at Evolent Health, Allscripts, and BMC Software. Mr. Deshpande is widely recognized for his expertise in setting up and scaling global capability centers for Fortune 500 companies, driving innovation, digital transformation, and offshore strategy. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Nitin Deshpande. Sir, over to you.
Okay, this is better. Good afternoon. So this is going to be a challenge only because now it's a little visible. So first of all, thank you for inviting me. I was present for Professor Gollar's address, and I was wondering, because the topic is the same, I told him that you have stolen most of the ideas that I'm going to talk about. So he said, I said the same thing to my previous speaker. So, but no, I'm sure that we'll have always something more to talk about. So it's not, even if the topic is the same, the ideas could be very different. So first of all, let me start with a disclaimer. So by no stretch of imagination am I an expert in AI. As you know, I've done a lot of other things, but AI is something which has just come right now. And like you, I'm also learning. But as you'll see in the presentation also later on, Only thing important with AI is to be able to learn and use it. It doesn't matter how much you know, because that's why it's artificial intelligence. You don't have to be intelligent. You just have to know how to use that intelligence. So I'm going to try and help you understand that, understand the implications about the topics that we have at hand. One thing, however, I will say, and I think Professor Golar also said something similar. So I don't know, do you know that there was this summit in, AI summit in Delhi recently, and Sam Altman was there, and he made one famous statement saying that don't listen to anybody with gray hair. So you can see that you should not be listening to me. So he basically says that, look, today you have all the information that you need without having to rely on what people with gray hair or people with experience are talking. I'll modify that a little bit. Listen, but then decide on your own what you should be doing. In Marathi we say, aika vijanache karave manache. So if you understand that, so basically go by what you feel. So let me try this. Let's see this. Oops. Okay. So first of all, I want to tell you that I've been in this industry far too long. Definitely before all the students were born, but possibly before some of the faculty was born. So I've been in the industry for 45 years before anybody knew what this whole IT is all about. In fact, a quick anecdote about that. So I was finishing my MBA in IIM Ahmedabad, and I was one of the 2 students out of 280 students who had opted for what they called a specialization in information systems. Okay, because there in IIM Ahmedabad, it's no specialization, everything is general management. So I was the one of 2 people who chose this. And my professors that time were saying that, why do you want to get into this? This is a support function. You'll never be able to rise to the top. But I said, no, that's my passion. That's what I like to do. Therefore, I want to be in this field. Fast forward about, that was in 1981. Fast forward about 15 years and 20 years. And everybody, even people who had gone to other areas, started saying, yaar, tu IT mein kaise gaya? How can I enter IT? So today, the same thing is happening with AI. But the reason I talked about this is, I started working in IT when IT was literally punch cards. I'm sure you probably don't even know what punch card is. You definitely have not seen it, right? And the computer programs were actually hardwired. We had to put wires together, and that is how the computers used to do the calculations. In fact, if you have heard the word debugging, right? It actually meant killing insects which were interfering with the connection of the wire. That's how the debugging came in. Okay, so from those days, then we went to a whole lot of other things. We went into mini computers. So I used to work on a mini computer called Data General. And we said, state of the art. You know how much total disk space it had? 250 megabytes, which is not, not even a family group of WhatsApp also will be probably more than that today, right? But that's how we worked together. But then things started changing rapidly. Every new wave came with new things. We got distributed systems. We got relational databases. Today, we talk about much more than relational databases. We talk about Hadoop and so on. And then the cloud computing came in. We started scaling. Every wave was faster and quicker than the previous one. And finally, now we have at the cutting edge, we have the latest innovations, which is Gen AI and agentic AI and so on. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go forward. But the important thing to remember is the people who survived these are the only ones who basically kept learning the new things and not be scared of it. AI is going to be just another thing. It's going to be faster. But the good thing is you can use it to your advantage and you can become that much better. So let's go through. All right. So how is it different? So and I think that some of it was already mentioned, that AI reached 100 million users in just 2 months. Anybody here who doesn't use any AI agent, any chatbot? Anybody? Raise your hand. Obviously not, right? Everybody uses, we use it probably more than we should. Sometimes, we use it, instead of using a search, we use a AI bot. and we'll talk a little bit later about how that is actually having some some impact on sustainability, which is not necessarily the best thing. So, but the point is, it's become ubiquitous. In fact, we talk about movie trailers in Bollywood coming up and getting 100 million views, etc. It's faster than that also, right? So that's one. And the performance has been going through the roof. See, typically people talk about 20% better performance, 50% better performance. This is like 40 to 100% better performance in terms of the speed at which you do it. In fact, the GPT-4o operates with like 0.2 seconds latency, 0.2 seconds. In fact, when you watch cricket, they show you, right, the reaction time of the fielder when he picks up a catch. That's also more than that, right? So it's so fast. And most importantly, earlier we used to talk about computers and IT as means of automation. So, you automate something which you are doing manually to basically reduce your drudgery, whether it is on the shop floor or whether it is in the office or whatever. But today what we are talking about is not just automation, but autonomy. Now, there can be dangerous consequences of that, but basically you're making the agents autonomous where they are making the decisions themselves. So I'll give you a simple example. Nothing to do with AI, but if you have heard of ADAS in cars, the first time I drove a rental car and I was driving and I was used to cruise control, so I had put it on a cruise speed of 80 or whatever, and then suddenly I find that the car is slowing down. I said, what's wrong? Why is it slowing down? And then I realized that I was traveling at something like, 80 miles per hour, which is whatever, 160 kilometers or thereabouts. And there was a vehicle in front, which was at a distance, which made it unsafe to travel at that speed at that distance. So it slowed down automatically. It didn't even ask me. But that's the first step of autonomy. But imagine if you take it forward, and if it takes you to a place where you don't want to go, that will be a problem. Right? So autonomy is good, but we have to control it. So this is what the AI inflection point is today. We, as a world, we are at an inflection point where AI is going to be ubiquitous. It's going to take over things, and the challenge is some of the other things that we talked about in terms of autonomy and control and so on. I'll talk a little bit more about that. So I won't spend too much time on this. Basically, the agent loop it's way beyond answering questions. I mean, typically most of us, put in a question for chatbot and we get an answer. We are very happy with it. At the most, we give a follow-up question and then we get another answer and so on, which is fine, which is good. But it's now going beyond answers. It is an iterative reasoning cycle. So what it does is it actually plans, it acts, it observes what the impact was. The agent will observe what the impact was, and based on that, it will refine what it's going to do the next time. And that's the piece which is not yet understood by most people. We haven't understood that power of this particular thing where you're constantly improving. We talk about continuous improvement, right? I mean, the Japanese have been talking about for a long time. But imagine every piece being constantly getting better and better and better, right? So there's a famous saying, right? If you become 1% better every day, you become what? Something 365 times better, whatever, some huge number. This is, just imagine this. Every time that agent is operating on something, is going to do it better. So that's the piece where you can, and also it has tremendous memory. It doesn't forget anything. So everything that it has done in the past and the consequences which were there, that's all in the memory. It's all being considered again. So that's the major difference between the agentic loop and the routine AI. Now, why is it important to India, right? I believe, and many people believe, that this is India's AI movement. In fact, some of you might have read, people criticizing India for, one, not really getting on like China did for our own LLMs, etc. Now, that is also changing, but there are other people like Nandan Nilekani who said that we don't need to invent the LLMs. We just need to use them better. We need to have use cases. We need to have that basic stack, it doesn't matter who makes the LLM. Everybody should not be making LLMs. That's his point of view. I think the reality is we need both. But why is it required for India? First of all, the scale of our population. Except China, there is no other country, right, which comes even close. China also is below us now, but others are nowhere near, right? So that gives a unique kind of a problem for us. And more importantly, it's not just about 1.4 billion. So China is also 1.4 billion, but there's much more homogeneity in China. Everybody speaks Mandarin. Of course, they don't have a choice, right? In India, you know what kind of problems we have when we start saying that, okay, you have to speak this language. So language becomes, an AI being based on natural language processing, that's a huge, huge deal. And remember, I once gave a exercise to my children, two sons who are both grown up, but when they were in school, I said, I'll give you an award if you speak one paragraph, on anything, without using a single English word. They could not do it. I bet you will also not be able to do it. Why? Because we are used to a mishmash of languages. So that's why we talk about Hinglish and Minglish and whatnot, right? But if that's the language that you use, your AI should be capable of, one, understanding that language, even more importantly, responding in that language. And today I'm glad to say, maybe it's on the next slide, but some of the, like BharatGen, that's a locally produced LLM. I actually had the privilege to visit IIT Bombay where it's actually being built. And I talked to some of the people who are building that. And I was absolutely floored by the kind of things that it can do. So if you, for example, a lot of times, if you are writing WhatsApp in Hindi or Marathi or whatever, you don't write in Devanagari, right? You say, kahan gaye the, to K-A-H-A-N, kahan, G-A-Y-E gaye. And sometimes that spelling in English means something else, right? So, but here, this LLM can actually understand that, process it, understand the context, and reply to you in that same phonetic language. And that's something which is going to be a game changer, because a lot of people, see, just like we have this, the rich and poor divide, we have this computer literate versus computer illiterate divide, right? People who are not able to use smartphones or internet, etc., are at a severe disadvantage. This is going to change all that. Because now they can speak in their own language, whatever be that language is. And by the way, the language is so different. It's not just about 22, sort of recognized languages. But I'll give you an example. When I came from Nagpur to Mumbai for studying, and I was at my uncle's place, and my uncle, and they are from Goa side, my mother's side. So they used to be, in those days, TV used to be only 6 to 9 in the evening, only black and white. And on Saturday, there was a Marathi movie in Mumbai TV, and on Sunday, there was a Hindi movie. We sat down, everybody used to come together, neighbors used to come together and watch the Marathi movie or Hindi movie. There was a Marathi movie that day. About 20 of us were sitting there in the hall. And slowly, after 15 minutes, people started walking off. So I said, what happened? Why are you walking off? We thought there was a Marathi movie, but this is something else. We don't understand. I said, what are you talking about? I am understanding every word. It is Marathi movie. You know what happened? That dialect which they had used in that movie was a Vidarbha dialect. Varadi we call it, right? Which is a part, kind of like Marathi, but so different that these people could not understand anything. Now imagine that also has to be understood. Human beings may not understand, but the LLM has to understand that. And that's the power. Anyway, so that's about diversity of data. And of course, because we are such a huge country and a developing country, we have all these problems in whether it is about in health, public health, or governance, or education, and so on. Now that's where we can really make a huge difference by using AI. And of course, growing momentum. I mean, I think Professor Golar talked about the number of startups that he's seeing, and some of you are also interested in doing that. It is amazing how much momentum is there. I mean, every other day, I'm a consultant now, so I kind of mentor some of the startups. Almost every day, I get at least one request. I'm building this startup using AI. Can you help me? right? Which is good. The flip side, the ecosystem, the government support, etc., is really changing. Yesterday, I talked to some people from DRDO, a government organization, and the kind of work that they're doing for not just building AI, but building the guardrails and the semantics and what should be done, how do you protect personal information, how do you do that using AI. All that, it's amazing how much work the government is also doing. There are some really, really smart people are working towards making sure that the right guardrails are in place. So the government is also active. And of course the industry, because it's the flavor of the day, the industry is, everybody is saying, what are you doing in AI? And people are kind of touting about, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So the good thing is the momentum seems to be in its favor now. I just talked a little bit about this. So I talked about the Bharat Jan model. It's amazing, and I'll talk a little bit about how it's a mixture of experts. And in the next slide, I'll explain what that is. But it's a new concept even within LLMs, right? What it's doing, I'll explain later. But there are others. It's not just the only one. Bharat Jan is, of course, one thing which is being incubated, but there's Indic first AI model like Sarvam. There is a full stack AI infrastructure by Krutrim, which is Bhavesh Agarwal's Ola is backing that Krutrim and so on. So we are building, just like we have that, you have heard of the India stack, right? The UPI and Jan Dhan Yojana and all that. This is also going in the same direction where we'll have enough information. Now, I'll also tell you that institutes like defense, institutes like IITs, they do a lot of very sensitive work for, whether it's for India's defense or other similar thing, nuclear programs and so on. They definitely do not want to use any AI model which is from outside because they don't want that data to go out. That is where this is going to come in. That is where we need this. You all know how, I think, who was it, Microsoft or somebody who just stopped some services to a company because of some, it was an Indian company and the Russian oil purchase, etc. Of course, now all that is stopped, but it can happen any day. If you're dependent on some other foreign power, the thing can be shut off any day. So that's another reason why this is very important to have a sovereign AI ecosystem. AI is as good as being in charge of your own defense. So briefly I'll tell you what this mixture of experts does. So you all know that there's this trillions of tokens that have to be used, and these LLM models are huge and expensive and so on. What this tries to do is, instead of everything being known to one super AI model, it generates, think of it as different expertise. Like, just like you have somebody expert in physics and chemistry and mathematics and biology and all that. So these agents are experts in one specific area, and there's a sort of orchestration which happens where, depending on what you are looking at, only those agents are brought into picture. That's a mixture of experts, and because of that, one, you can do it much faster, two, you can do it much cheaper. And that's the model that Bharat Jan LLM is actually using, which is phenomenal, if you think about it. That makes us on par with the best in the world. I will not go into this, but basically I wanted to say that we are talking about analytics. In analytics, earlier the thing was, okay, somebody knew SQL and made a dashboard, and you said that, okay, I want a different kind of a dashboard or different kind of a query. He had to write an SQL query and all that. All good. But today it's, again, it's come down to just you're chatting, you say that, okay, this is what I want. The agent goes into all the data, figures out, gives you the insights, and all this happens in natural language. And more importantly, it can then do a better job the next time. It can even suggest, do you want this additional information? Have you figured out this insight? And so on. So that's something, analytics is going to be totally changed now. I will skip this only because of, in the interest of time, but essentially I talked a little bit about this earlier. It's a cycle where you continuously refine things. What I wanted to talk to you about was entrepreneurship, just a little bit. Yesterday only I talked to an entrepreneur who is a whiz kid. He's building something in AI which he thinks that nobody in the world has done that, and maybe it's true, I don't know. But he's all alone. I said, yeah, do you have any concept of what finance is? No, he's a technologist. Do you know how to sell this? He has no idea. Do you know how to price this? No idea. I said, how are you going to do that? You typically, even a venture capital fund or a PE, they always want a complementary skilled board of co-founders, so that different people bring to the table different skills. A single individual could not do it. Now that has changed. You can use AI as a co-founder, as a specialized co-founder. So whether it is about handling key functions like research, operations, marketing, product management, AI can give all that. And I have actually seen examples where the whole branding strategy, the marketing strategy, the go-to-market strategy has been built by AI literally in like half an hour. So that's the power. So entrepreneurship itself will become much easier. Of course, you got to have the right idea and you still got to deliver it, but it will become much easier using AI. And employment, everybody talks about this, right? Are jobs going to go away? Well, jobs are not going to go away, tasks are going to go away. So if you are doing a certain job, certain tasks out of that, you should be able to eliminate and hand over to AI. So AI will not replace you, but if you don't learn, and if you don't start using it, then somebody who knows how to use AI will replace you. So that's the piece that I wanted to make sure that and there will be new tasks. But at the same time, a good AI system typically will have a human in the loop. There will be some routine tasks which will be completely 100% automated. But I'll give you a quick example from my healthcare background. So when we talk about diagnosis, or we talk about prior authorization of some surgical procedure, AI is used heavily now. Okay, it goes through the whole case study and whatever has been reported, etc. And it doesn't actually tell you that this is what should be done, but it tells you this is a summary, this is what I recommend. And then the doctor or the nurse, whoever is actually there in the loop, will say that yes, let's go ahead with this, or ask follow-up questions and get further validation. So that human in the loop is something which we have to keep in mind. Sustainability, again, you must have heard about it. I'm not going to throw numbers at you, but the kind of energy that is consumed for these models is just humongous. Whether it is power, whether it is water, and of course the e-waste that is going to get generated, which is not just AI everywhere. So that's something which we need to be cognizant about, and we need to figure out how to do that. What's the good news? Good news is AI can help us do that. So if I go to the next one, so the opportunity is that whether it is for climate modeling or for agriculture, in fact, Professor Goldar also said the same thing, that most of the applications which are actually becoming very popular right now using AI, they are in the agriculture area. Some of them are in the healthcare area. These are, and of course, education area. My son is working in the education field, and he is building a tool where each student, the tool kind of assesses the student and kind of keeps increasing the level of complexity if the student is doing well, keeps decreasing it if the student is not doing well. From there, figure out what are the areas where the student needs help, and basically personalize education to each individual. So typically what happens, no two students are exactly the same, but we tend to deliver one single lecture, right, or one single method. So this is one example. Same thing with agriculture. Agriculture, I mean, the problems in Maharashtra or even in one particular district are so different from another district, because the soil conditions are different, the climatic conditions are different, so on. AI can help us get that much better. And of course, governance, like transparency. You've all seen how just using IT has helped. Now this is going to become even better. So this is something which you need to understand. What is T-shaped skill? So basically, for all of you to do well in life, I keep joking with my kids and others that, look, I don't need to worry about it because my career is kind of done, but you need to worry about it. So for you who are just entering the workforce, okay, soon, you need to understand this, that one, you need a broad understanding of AI concepts, okay, how to use AI, what does it mean? but you must have deep domain expertise in some area. So that's why the T, broad and deep. So that's something which you please keep it in mind. But the last point is the most important. The last point is, whatever you learn, you can be guaranteed that it will become obsolete. And therefore, the only thing which you should learn is how to learn. And keep learning every single day, right? Oops, sorry. I think this is the last slide. So basically, I am very optimistic about how AI can transform our lives, particularly given the Indian context and the huge challenges that we have. In literature, we call it the wicked problems. Wicked problems are something very, very difficult to solve. Fortunately, AI can help us solve those wicked problems. So with that, I'll stop here. I don't know whether we have any time for questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming from a not so IT-oriented age to moving towards the IT revolution, witnessing technological upgradations to another level, Mr. Nitin Deshpande has seen it all, done it all, thus citing us all about how today technology is applied in different domains to a whole another next level. While AI definitely has led to automation, but the application of data analytical tools like AI and ML has helped make things much better, has helped make processes much better. Thank you for connecting us to the age-old days and then journey through the transition to a place where we are today, where human beings are using and exploring opportunities to make predictive, real-time, and data-driven intelligent decision-making. Today, youngsters today must harness big data and AI for entrepreneurial innovation, where AI can become a co-founder. Thank you once again, sir. Moving on to the next international plenary session. We now move to the next session, which will be delivered online through a video recording by a distinguished academician from the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Dr. Tahir Akin, the Fields Chair in Business Analytics and Professor at Texas State University. He holds a PhD in Decision Science and is an elected member of the International Statistical Institute. Dr. Akin, a leading researcher in analytics, Bayesian statistics, and healthcare fraud detection, and is the author of the noted work, Statistics and Healthcare Fraud. Let's warmly welcome Tahir Akin online. His work bridges rigorous academic inquiry with real-world managerial applications, particularly in data-driven decision-making and predictive analytics.
Hi everyone, this is Tahir Akin from Texas State University. It's truly an honor to be here at the DYPIMS International Conference on Business. Hi everyone, this is Tahir Akin from Texas State University. It's truly an honor to be here at the DYPIMS International Conference on Business Analytics and Artificial Intelligence. We are living through one of the fastest technological accelerations in modern history. Artificial intelligence has moved very rapidly from research labs to enterprise systems, and indeed from pilot projects to production workflows. But today, I want to argue something slightly different. The future of AI in organizational transformation is not necessarily about adoption, where we are focusing on these days. It's about institutional redesign. Many organizations, potentially including yours, have experimented with AI. But far fewer have transformed because of AI. And that distinction matters, especially now that we are seeing more AI native companies. Let me talk about AI arms race. And I will argue that AI arms race is not necessarily only technological, but mostly institutional. So much of the global conversation centers around the technological arms race, right? Every day we are hearing about larger models, need for more compute, faster training cycles, competition for the infrastructure, and every day we are seeing changes among global foundational models in the benchmark races. However, from my perspective and my own research in adversarial AI, the arms race is far broader. I research adversarial machine learning and AI, for instance. We observe something very clear. As models improve, attack strategies also improve and evolve. As defenses strengthen, new vulnerabilities emerge. So there is that constant adaptive dynamic. The same is true organizationally. AI arms race has multiple fronts. Obviously, model scale and performance, which we had been focusing on in the last few years, is important. Data infrastructure maturity, now that we started with more widespread adoption, we are seeing the importance of. But the tiers of organizational adaptation, as well as human capital and governance, are still catching up. And that's where the real competition. The real competition, when you think about it, is institutional. The winners in this race won't necessarily be those with largest models or access to those most powerful models, but those with most adaptive institutions. And when we think about it, this is especially relevant in India, right? Because in India, AI is being deployed at scale across finance, education, healthcare, public digital infrastructure. And the scale you have here amplifies both opportunities and consequences. Let's talk a little bit more about the transformation of technological architecture into organizational architecture. First, let's establish that the AI systems that we have are not neutral tools, right? They classify, generate, transform knowledge based on certain assumptions. And each of these functions have different roles on the organizational transformation. For instance, we have been working on evaluating the impact of large language models across different architectures. We observe that model design choices affect error patterns, confidence calibration, sensitivity to perturbation and manipulation, as well as stability under distributional shifts. These are all technical properties, right? And you may think they're potentially individuals. But once AI systems are embedded into workflows, these technical properties, due to their assumptions, become organizational consequences. If an AI system classifies risk, it shapes the attention. If it generates strategy drafts, it influences framing. If it transforms knowledge across languages, it reshapes the coordination structures. So over time, the line between technology architecture and organizational architecture gets closer and closer. It disappears. Now that we are moving towards agentic AI, I'm sure most of you have been hearing about this, but let me define agentic AI. Agentic AI consists of systems that move from assistants to operators. So there will be more autonomous behavior, right, when it comes to these agents. And we will outsource some of the tasks to these agents. But then questions of accountability as well as authority become central, especially in industries where compliance is important and consequences are crucial. Some questions that come into mind, right? Who is responsible when AI executes? Or if there are overrides, how do we manage those? How do we design for those? Uncertainty. How do we communicate that in the first place? So these are not necessarily technical questions, but these are institutional design questions. This is where human-centered AI becomes important and strategic. Especially in the last few years, while we are trying to figure out of AI in our lives, in the workplace, we are seeing more discussion on human-centered AI. Initially, it was framed more as an ethical issue. But the more we understand the adoption, now it can be argued to be a strategic decision. So my background is in statistical and decision modeling. So when I think about AI, it's not necessarily only prediction, but it's a structured decision support under uncertainty. And this decision support must be designed for human cognition. Human-centered AI includes institutional trust design, the cognitive ergonomics, inclusion at scale, and context sensitivity. But how do we do this? How do we move from the technology-driven AI, which was more focusing on the speed and scale and automation and performance benchmarks, to put AI in action? So first, most of the AI tools are based on black box algorithms, right? And we don't have 100% understanding of basically why they provide a particular output. There is also probabilistic nature to most of them. So that interpretability, given that, becomes very crucial. Then you have the cultural context. Now we are seeing, including India, more local foundational models, right? But this context also applies to particular business domains. We are seeing more momentum towards small language models or customized models, more advanced statistical decision models tailored to a particular use case. Even if we are using global foundation models, it needs to capture that richness that comes from the linguistic diversity. And once we have them in the workflow, there should be proper override mechanisms. Right now, most of the focus has been on adoption, right? And we are basically focusing on AI literacy. Thinking about it, that cognitive alignment probably is the most important piece. So we need to design systems that align with how we really think or operate. We need to present uncertainty clearly, and that has been one of the early criticisms, right? AI sometimes provides confident but shallow analysis. It has an idea about things it may not know enough about. It may not be expert on because of lack of data or another reason. So that's quite important. How do we design systems that puts the way that humans operate in the first place? At least in the transformation. Because this is also a dynamic problem, right? When you think about it, the computers or internet or smartphones change the way we operate, we think. So AI has the potential to have this similar impact. But how do we design for that? So we want to reduce the cognitive overload. Again, that's one of our basic spatial skills, right? We are able to distinguish between level 1 thinking and level 2 thinking. Figure out what could be important given the context or our priorities. So how do we design AI that helps with that? And then the important thing about judgment, right? We don't want AI necessarily to replace judgment, but support it, enhance it. So especially in diverse multilingual environments, such as India, this becomes even more important. If systems are optimized just for performance benchmarks, but ignore human interaction dynamics, there may be a decrease in the trust. And when trust erodes, you lose the buy-in and the transformation stalls. So it's not necessarily an add-on. It needs to be at the center of the design. So this is how I see the AI adoption towards institutional intelligence. So we are probably at the AI adoption, AI integration phase, right? So first, we have been deploying models, running pilots, experimenting, and most of the businesses are at that phase. Some of them are now intentionally embedding AI to their workflows, which kind of shows that there have been many issues, right? And the initial outcome is that the ROI may not be as high as people have hoped. Building upon that, we would like to design adaptive learning organizations around these AI capabilities. That's where when we get to institutional intelligence. And that's where basically the promise of especially AI native companies lie on. This is such a transformational time, right? Basically, if the existing corporations, organizations don't adapt, they will potentially be replaced. So the ROI promise here is on the measurable impact on cycle times, how we do business at the end of the day, and overall potential impact on the cost to serve. So what does institutional intelligence mean, or it could mean, right? It's an evolving phenomenon. So first, we would need continuous evaluation and task-based cross-functional governance. So you need those feedback loops. So you can't necessarily do the evaluation at certain snapshots of a time. It needs to be very dynamic, based on the incoming data or changing organizational priorities. We need to recalibrate these systems over and over again. And I guess especially in education, one of the important things is to consider and support talent development. So for instance, in adversarial AI evaluation research, we see something important. So sometimes models that perform very well under benchmark conditions can degrade under different data setups, either distributional shifts or strategic input changes. So while we are more interested in the performance in complex environments, we tend to judge these models with their performance under ideal conditions. So how do we connect the dots and make that transformation? Organizations have this challenge. It's not necessarily enough to deploy and train in these high-performing AI systems. How can we design our workflows so that they can learn, adapt, and recalibrate as environments as well as the AI tools and methods evolve? So overall, AI has great potential to improve the operational efficiency. But we need to think from the redesigning lens, not simply installing the models. So universities, overall, we have a basically big, important role. We have a unique role when you think about it in this transformation, because we are not necessarily just the users of AI. We are also helping shape its future. Because we train the next generation of the AI leaders. We develop these evaluation methodologies. We study the institutional impacts. And we try to bridge technology and governance. That's why I really value our collaboration between Texas State University and your institution. And it's not necessarily on an academic exchange. So we are co-designing the governance and decision architectures of AI-enabled societies together. And that's a major responsibility that we take seriously. Let me conclude with this. The future of AI in organizational transformation will not necessarily be determined by who deploys AI first. It won't be determined solely by model size or compute power. It will be determined by who redesigns institutions most intelligently. The future AI transformation belongs to institutions that redesign intelligently. Thank you for the opportunity and all of you for your time.
I would like to place on record a big thank you to Dr. Akin for that enlightening presentation and for joining us online across continents to contribute to this academic gathering. Sir emphasized that AI arms race today is more institutional and not only technological. Today's technological architecture is institutional architecture. Moving further, Should we have one more online session or can we move on? Okay. So to express the gratitude, I now invite Dr. Pooja Kapoor, Associate Professor, DYP, PGDMI, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Meenal ma'am. Respected dignitaries, distinguished speakers, esteemed delegates, faculty members, researchers, and my dear students. On the behalf of T.Y. Patil PGTM Institute, it's my privilege to propose vote of thanks for the enriching plenary session of the International Conference on Business Analytics and Artificial Intelligence for Sustainable and Entrepreneurial Ecosystems in Management 2026. First and foremost, I extend my sincere gratitude to our distinguished plenary speakers for sharing their valuable insights and expertise with us. I would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to Mr. Nitin Deshpande, Strategic Advisor, GCC Setup, and ex-president at Evolent, Allscripts, and BMC for delivering an insightful session and sharing his vast industry experience with the participants. We are equally grateful to Dr. Tahir Ekin, Professor at Texas State University, USA, for enlightening us with his perspectives on the emerging role of analytics and artificial intelligence in shaping sustainable management practices. Your collective insights have truly enriched this session and provided all of us with new perspectives on the integration of business analytics, artificial intelligence, and sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystem. I would also like to thank the patrons, conference chairs, organizing committee members, faculty members, volunteers, and students for their dedicated efforts in making this conference a grand success. Special word of appreciation to all the delegates, academicians, researchers, and industry professionals and students for your enthusiastic participation, for contributing to the intellectual vibrancy of this conference. With this, we conclude the plenary session, and we hope the ideas and discussion shared today will inspire future research, collaboration, and innovation. Thank you all once again for your presence and participation.
Thank you, ma'am. Just an announcement. Post the lunch, we will then transition into the academic core of this conference. DYP PGDMI building. We extend our best wishes to all the researchers and presenters. May your discussions be intellectually stimulating and academically enriching. Lunch